Chapter 9. One morning, Sumiko noticed that they'd all begun to look at their belongings differently, assessing what items might be worth good money. They started eating at the kitchen table for dinner to avoid getting the dining room table dirty, just in case they needed to sell it. More areas had been evacuated, but a couple of reliable men in the neighborhood had heard that Sumiko's community wouldn't be evacuated until June. So Sumiko's family was pretty surprised in May when a sign appeared in a neighborhood not far from where they lived. The sign announced that in 1 week all Nikki in the area would be evacuated to a temporary center at a racetrack. Sumiko was filled with a weird feeling then, a feeling she never would have expected. Relief. Finally, the moment they'd feared was here. Bull and Ichiro went out the next day as required to register their family with the government and receive a family ID number. Suddenly, hundreds of people in the area were selling cars, furniture, and tractors. Auntie moaned at her stupidity for not selling their furniture earlier. Whenever Sumiko looked out the front window, she saw Hakujin driving down the dirt road. Sometimes the cars stopped at Sumiko's house. Their house had become a store. People by the dozens tramped through, touching their things and offering them much less than the items were worth. Everyday men looked at Baba, but declined to buy her. Sumiko and Tak would spend an hour each evening sitting on the stable floor with the horse. Sometimes Tak would brush Baba down, but other times he would just sit on the ground and sing songs with Sumiko to keep Baba company during these last days with her as their horse. Tak even begged to sleep in the stable, but Auntie said no. One day, Sumiko and Tak were in their room playing cards when Bull entered. He set Tak in his lap and said, "Someday I'll get you all the horses you want." Tak's eyes lit up. "I want 20, 21, counting Baba." "Okay, I'll get you 20. Bull seemed exhausted. Nobody spoke for a moment, and Bull continued quietly. "I've sold Baba. At least she'll have a home now." Tak's mouth fell open, and he made a little choking noise. His face got all screwed up, but at first he didn't cry at all. He ran outside, Sumiko following. When they reached the stable, it was, of course, empty. Then Tak cried and cried. Sumiko sat with him in the hay for an hour until his sobs turned to whimpers. They went inside and found their beds had been sold. That night they lay on the floor where their beds used to be. Auntie wanted to keep sleeping in their room because she had the crazy idea that this would help them keep things normal. But no curtains hung in the window, and moonlight slashed shadows across the barren room. Tak seemed all cried out. Bull came in to say good night. First he went to Tak and said that he had decided to make him a special box to carry his crickets in when they evacuated. "Thank you," Tak said glumly. When Bull said good night to Sumiko, he asked, "Is there anything you need?" "No. Bull, I'm sorry about Baba." "It's over now," he said. "What was the man like who bought her?" Bull didn't answer, and Sumiko knew that the rest of Baba's life would not be pleasant. Finally, Bull said resignedly, "How much did you sell that scarf for?" $1. "Almost as much as for the horse," he said. "There are more horses for sale than expensive silk scarves." "All right," he said, instead of good night. The shadows cut his back into two as he walked out. Sumiko lifted her blankets and went over to Tak. She lay down and put her arms around him. He felt strange and cold, not like a living boy. "When do you think you'll have your flower shop?" he said. "Maybe when I'm 25. "Do you think Baba will still be alive?" "I don't think so," she said. She pressed her nose into his hair. He pulled away. Do you think Ichiro will make a lot of money? He says he will. When? He said. I don't know. Before you own your flower shop? She thought that over, then said, Yes, he'll be successful first because he's older. Do you think he can buy Baba back? She started to say she didn't think so, but instead, she said yes. Are you sure? Yes, she lied. I'm sure.